Did you know that 15% of the contracts that are written today in real estate in Hampton Roads fall through? Today, we're going to tell you what you can do to avoid that.
Yes, it's Betsy
and Alan here in coastal Virginia. Betsy, have you ever seen this many contracts falling through?
Never in my life. I mean, it's kind of funny. I actually think I should be getting paid twice as much.
Because we're having to write them over and over and over. You know,
I feel like I'm selling houses. I laugh because I'm selling the same house 2 and 3 times right now.
I know. It's kind of like when COVID, it was you had to write that many offers for your buyers because there were so many people writing offers, you couldn't get the contract. Mm-hmm. Now we're getting the contracts, but
we're selling the house over and over and
over. Over and over and over on the list side. You know, there's a lot of things that come into this. Sometimes there's finance reasons. Sometimes there's inspection surprises. Sometimes repairs.
It's actually everything's perfect. And the buyers are just like, yeah. And I'm like, it was perfect.
Right.
What in the world?
You know,
it's crazy.
We think there's a lot of things. First is expectations. You know, there's a lot of HGTV out there and people expect to get this HGTV-ready house. And the fact is that's just not the case all the time. In fact, it's not the case the majority of the time. In the past, when buyers looked at, they didn't really care as much when we went through that COVID bubble of it, because that's exactly what it was. It's kind of like a tech bubble. This was a COVID bubble that allowed interest rates to be dropped. So they just wanted to get a house and get in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. Well, today, when interest rates have gone up to a normal, not a high rate, they are a normal rate now.
A little bit below normal right now.
It actually is. It's actually a little below the 20-year rolling average. So the rates are good right now. Mm-hmm. So buyers are out there and their expectation is if they're paying this payment, they expect everything to be perfect.
Yes.
And so sometimes they're having to do what we used to have to do. You know, buying a house was a push before, you know, like, okay, I got to save up money. I've got to do this. I've got to get ready. I want to be a homeowner. And so I'm going to go through all these things. I'm going to sacrifice. I'm not going to eat out as much. I'm not going to go to Starbucks every day. I'm not going to do all these things so that I can buy a house.
Right.
And now I think we've got a group coming along that they haven't really learned that yet. And so that house payment, when they see it, it puts them into shock.
Right.
And so they start getting, you know, a little nervous during the process because, you know, you don't write a contract and close on it 3 days later. Although I can't wait till AI and tech lets us do that.
Yes, that would be so sweet.
We can't do it yet. So what can we do? What are some of the things we can do to maybe stop this? You know, have you ever thought about for the sellers? Because here's the problem. The sellers think their house is sold and they go into it thinking, okay, we're going to do this. And then they make decisions to move forward. Mm-hmm. And then when the deal falls through, now they have to go back on the market. And sometimes that doesn't look great for them unless they got a really good agent that knows how to explain it. It doesn't look great. So what are some of the things the sellers might do ahead of time to avoid getting contracts that fall through?
Sometimes, you know, you can do a pre-inspection. Now, the bad thing about doing a pre-inspection is you know all the warts on your house now.
Yep.
So those are now disclosures.
That's correct.
So if you're not willing to fix everything on your house, just note you may not want to do that pre-inspection.
Right. You know, and what she's talking about, if you do a full pre-inspection and you find out you've got a termite moisture issue underneath the house, well, you either have to tell the other side there's a termite moisture issue, or the right thing is you're going to have to fix it anyway. Let's get it fixed up front.
Well, we always do the termite and moisture inspection up front because we want our sellers to know. But the biggest issues with me sometimes in doing the pre-inspection is now plumbing.
Yes.
You know, plumbing is one thing, you know, I always tell people, you know, now you know. So somebody comes in here and let's just say that house gets a home inspection for info only or a waived home inspection. I don't recommend a waived home inspection, but there's people out there that are doing waived home inspections. Well, if we did a pre-home inspection, we know we've got to disclose.
Right.
So those are little issues for me that are things that you don't want to do. The biggest thing that I tell people is, you know, these things are going to happen. It's all about who you're working with. So you just want to make sure that you're working with that experienced agent who's going to get you through, who's going to explain it to you, who's going to walk you through, who's going to make sure. I always tell people, Let me have that stress.
And if you want an agent that's going to take the stress for you, what you really need to do is like us,
Love us, and
follow us. So now, if you do that, she'll tell you what happens.
That's right. I mean, because here's the thing. I mean, buying and selling is not easy. If people tell you it's easy, there were times, yes. I mean, look, you know, sometimes you go through the process and yes, is it easy or do we make it look easy? Yes, it is not easy no matter what. Even if you go through the process and we make it look super easy, it is not easy. There's tons of things going on in the background. We have a staff now of 7 people to do this job. That means this is not easy, but we try and make it look as easy as possible. But buying and selling is not easy, right?
So because of that, a lot of agents out there, you know, there's an 87% failure rate of agents that come into our industry within the first couple of years. And what happens is we have a lot of agents come in, they'll do 1 deal, 2 deals, no deals. And then all of a sudden, they end up with you because your best friend's cousin knew them and you decided to go use them. You use them, and you know what? They haven't seen all the difficulties, all the problems, all the things that can make a house fall through. And so they think, oh, I just have to write this up and I'm going to make thousands of dollars and I can go back to my full-time job and just answer calls, you know, sometime during the day when I want to. And what happens is we're on the other side trying to make the things happen that get the deal from signing the contract to the closing table. And that's where it becomes difficult. So I don't know about you. Have any of y'all ever had a house that maybe fell through and you want to tell us about it? What I need you to do is comment below, let us know, and we'll answer your questions on maybe how you can avoid that next time.
Absolutely.
So till next time, it's Alan.
And Betsy.
See you soon.